I'm going to talk to you a little bit about thyroid health, just highlighting the nutrition importance of it. So nutrition is super important when it comes to thyroid health. We really want to focus on key nutrients that have a lot of the micronutrients. We spoke a lot about macronutrients with our proteins, fats, and carbohydrates, but when it comes to thyroid health, there's a lot of focus on micronutrients such as iodine, selenium, zinc, iron is very important, and then a lot of vitamins like vitamin D, B12, and so on and so forth. It's really important that we have a balanced diet, rich in whole foods. It's so crucial for so many things health-wise, but it's super, super important also for optimal thyroid health. One thing I do want to mention is that there are a few autoimmune diseases that come from the thyroid, one of them being Hashimoto's and hyperthyroidism and hypothyroidism. And a lot of people try to manage their symptoms with food. So they'll take out things like nightshade vegetables and things like that. But it is really important to know that many times these autoimmune diseases or other thyroid issues really do need medication to be treated and to be managed. I, as a dietitian, love to follow the term of food as medicine. It is really important to meet with doctors and to meet with an endocrinologist. If you do suspect anything with the thyroid, definitely important to get our thyroid checked. We can be okay 1 month and the next month levels can be completely off. The thyroid is very delicate. The balance can go off in a matter of days. So it's very important we get our thyroid checked. And it is very important that if we do have one of these conditions, that if we need to be managed by medication, we should not turn that away. We should not say we're going to manage it with food, because you will go on the internet, you will see influencers saying that you can. But as a dietitian and as somebody who has run so much research on the matter, medication is very important when necessary. So do not try to manage it with foods. There are foods that can support the medications. As I just mentioned before, all of those different micronutrients, getting a ton of iron and things of that sort are great, but we do need to make sure that we're properly managing it with medication as necessary.
A word of caution about influencers in general. If you're seeing stuff online, there's a lot of things that a lot of people say online.
Yes.
Make sure you're talking to a nutritionist or a dietitian or your doctor about these things before
100%
you make changes.
It's good we can support our thyroid by eating healthy and just helping it along. So what I'm doing today, I'm actually doing a 3-course dinner in honor of Valentine's Day. Okay, first of all, I'm going to make a fish with Mahi. It's going to be a crusted fish with nuts, seeds and all that. They all contain selenium. So I'm going to start off by just putting some bits in here. I'm going to put these seeds. I didn't crush the seeds because they're small enough anyway. I have some almonds in here. Brazil nuts are probably one of the best nuts, if I'm right. Ariel could probably confirm that. You just need one of them to buy, apparently.
Yes.
Hard to find sometimes.
They are hard to find, Brazil nuts, but they're so delicious. Apparently, if you make a Brazil nut milk, it is like the creamiest of creamiest because I think it has such a high fat content in a good way, like a good healthy fat. You can't really find in a store Brazil nut milk, but if you make your own, it's apparently like really creamy, almost like a coffee creamer. Delicious. So just a word of advice.
Yeah, perfect. Cool. So in the nuts, I'm also going to add in lots of like fresh herbs. I have some fresh parsley, so I'm going to put a spoon of fresh parsley in here. And then I'm going to put some fresh tarragon. I like the way it smells a lot. So some fresh tarragon there. It's really nice in pasta as well. I remember doing one with pasta once and like a rigatto torta, and it was really good. Also, I'm going to use a little bit of zest of the lemon. Remember, we mustn't go too far down on the lemon. We don't want that bitter thing. Let me put a little bit of juice of the lemon in here. So a little bit of that, some olive oil. And just a couple of little teaspoons of olive oil. We're going to mix it up. And then that is our crust. Now, the fish, I have Mahi, pat dry that. Make sure it's patted dry really well. It's been washed with lemon. And then a little bit of flaky salt. Flaky salt and just a tinge of mustard. Just like a little tinge of mustard. I'm not going to do a lot, just a little bit.
That looks so good. I love mustard on fish.
Yeah, it takes that taste off. So you see, we're going to really try and press that down as much as you can. And then this is going to go in the oven for about 12 to 14 minutes at 400. I actually thought 400 was a lot. I was worried about the nuts burning. But if you feel like the nuts are getting a little dark, just cover them because they said it is important, the temperature. And fish temperature should be cooked internally at 145. So that's going to be popped in the oven in a minute. I also made a cauliflower rice. Basically, it was just boiling a little bit of the cauliflower till it was soft. You let it dry out a little bit, then you mash it down or whatever you want to do. If you want to rice it, whatever. And then it's very simple, just a little bit of olive oil or butter, whatever you prefer. So that's my cauliflower mash. This week, we are going to air fry some asparagus. So this is our recipe for asparagus this week. We have some nice, lovely asparagus tips here. Where it snaps.
Yep.
Where it snaps.
I love that about asparagus. It just does it
does
in the right spot on
its
own. Yeah.
You don't have to do the guesstimates.
Yep.
So we're going to do that. Then what I would do, I just spray light olive oil or a light avocado oil. I'm going to use a little bit of garlic powder, a little salt and pepper. And that goes on for about 4 to 6 minutes on the air fryer at 400 degrees. So I'm going to put that over there.
Do they get a little bit crispy?
Yes, it comes out beautifully. It comes out lovely. My last thing I'm going to do, because it's Valentine's Day, I wanted to do something a little special for our loved ones. Going out on Valentine's Day, it's not always great because there's like long lines and things like that, but you can definitely make something a little special at home. So I decided to make pink milkshake. They call it the pink drink. We have some fresh strawberries I'm going to put in here. Right, so just I've cut the strawberries already. Then I'm going to put some coconut milk. A little bit of coconut milk.
Coconut milk is delicious.
Yes. And then just a tiny touch of syrup, but I'm not going to go like too mad. Like it's literally a dash. We'll try and keep it as healthy as we can. And I'm going to use a little bit of cream on the top. So let me just blend it. So we have one here, and then mix that. I'm going to put a little pink drink.
That's so pretty, Sam.
Then I made like a little bit of heavy cream. Just a little dollop, nothing fancy. Pop a strawberry, and we're also going to do a little bit of shaving of the dye, just to give it that little bit of extra.
That is
so pretty.
It is so pretty. So well presented.
So this is the finish. This is
so beautiful. Show them those hearts.
If you see, I made love hearts out of the cheese. This is like a free course, and it's a lot cheaper than going out on Valentine's Day.
Gorgeous, Sam.
So there's your cauliflower rice with your crusted salmon, asparagus, of course your strawberry drink. It's just a sparkling water for water of the week. Let's keep it simple. We got everything else.
How much coconut milk did you use?
I actually cut it down on the recipe just because I made just one. The recipe was 2, so it says 2 cups, but I used sort of like 3/4 cup, and you get quite a lot of milk out that. You saw that.
Yeah, definitely.
That filled up. So if you do 3/4 cup, that's perfectly acceptable.
Cool.
That fills up.
Also going with the Valentine's theme, I one time did a salad dressing workshop, and so many people are like, I wanted a raspberry vinaigrette, and I actually really love that raspberry vinaigrette. And so many recipes require you to strain it and mush it, and I'm doing this in a blender. I definitely recommend doing this dressing in a blender. You don't need to, but it comes out better. So I'm using my blender. Yeah. It comes out a little pink, which is why we're going to do the blender. And I'm going to put it over a base of spinach because I love the combination with some goat cheese. And actually, I'm going to add a little bit of the extra raspberries. And then I'm going to show you a way to make candied pecans that are a little bit healthier than the traditional way of making a candied pecan. So I have my base here. Then I'm just going to put some goat cheese. You can do feta. I like goat here because it's a little more mild. And you can also leave out the cheese, but I just love that combination.
That's one of my favorites. One of my favorites is goat cheese.
I love it. So my goat cheese, first I'm going to add my raspberries for my dressing. So I'm going to do, you want a little less than half a cup, like a little less than half a cup of raspberries. I'm going to put my raspberries in, and then I'm going to sprinkle the rest on my salad. A good combination. Put that in there. And then into my dressing, I'm going to do some olive oil. So I have my raspberries in there. I'm going to do about 1/4 cup of olive oil. I'm not really measuring because it's really not necessary. You can always add if you need to. Then I'm going to add a little bit of honey, just about a tablespoon of honey. It's really going to bring out the sweetness of the raspberries. I'm going to add a tiny bit of apple cider vinegar. It also is going to help bring out the sweetness and add some acidity that we want for the dressing. And then to make it a little bit creamy, instead of using like a mayo or a yogurt, I'm using tahini because you guys know my obsession. Shaking that well.
I love that.
It came out so good. Now I'm going to blend this, and if I need to add a little bit of water to thin it out, I will. Actually, I'm going to add a little bit of water right now because I do believe it's going to need. I just added a tiny bit of water, and now I'm going to put the blender on, and it's going to be so delicious. And then I'm going to tell you how I made the candied pecans. That's blended pretty nicely. May need a little more water. I'm going to check. And a tiny bit more water. The taste is perfect. And a little bit more water just because I want to make it a little less thick, but that's really dependent on what you want and what you like. So I'm going to do that again. Now I'm going to show you my candied pecans. So typically what you do with candied pecans is you make like a caramel, and it's like a lot of brown sugar and all that stuff, and it's fine, but I wanted to make this a little tiny bit healthier. So what I did is I toasted them over the stove, and then I put the oven on 350. I sprinkled some cinnamon and I drizzled a bit of maple syrup. And they came out so good. They're definitely a little bit less sweet, which is fine by me. I'm going to put that on top, and then I'm going to put my dressing on top, which is not as perfect as I wanted it, but it's fine. And I'm going to get my spoon.
When you toast pecans, it just takes it to a different level. I feel like they taste so much better.
They do. It takes out some of that rawness. So now I'm going to put my dressing over it. And again, I wanted it a little bit thinner, but it's fine.
Gorgeous.
Totally fine. The taste is so good. And again, it's a nice little Valentine's Day pink. The taste is so good. It's like actually delicious. This is such a great recipe. And that's it.